That's good. I like that. That's not that you care if I like it or not, but I hope you do like it. That's Sheryl Crow. That's a song called Sweet Child of Mine. It's from the soundtrack of another anonymous movie called Big Daddy, which nobody will ever go and see, and everyone in the paper will say it's great. I've got some communications from everybody else. No, I'm not cynical today. It's just the way I am. I've got a letter today. No, I'm not cynical. It's important to me that I conduct my affairs here in a workmanlike manner. And indeed, I'm always pleased to find letters from children. And I have here a letter in front of me, written in a childish, innocent hand, which is a change because normally the letters I get are written in an adult, knowing, sly hand. This is from a young girl called Annie, and she's from Lisnabunny in Ballygolly. Isn't that a lovely place to be from, Lisnabunny? Would you please play a special request for our mummy? She is very special. She is the best mummy in the world. Mummy's name is Mandy Stockdale, and she lives also, you'll not be surprised to hear, in Lisnabunny in Ballygolly. Her birthday is on the 26th of August. Now, that's next Thursday. You may say to yourself, how premature. But you see, the way this system works in this programme, be lucky to be read out on Thursday at all. So I am doing it here as a form of insurance, but I will keep it. And if I can, I'll ring it out. I'll read it out, or indeed ring it out, on the 26th of August. We all love Mummy very much. I'm just reading this out just in case I miss it, or anything happens between now and then. I may have descended into drink hell between now and Thursday. From Anne, aged 7 years old. From Sarah, aged 5 years old, and from Matthew, aged 1.5. A good comprehensive range of free-range children. Also from our Dally Trevor. Thank you very much, Annie. And thank you, Annie, for going to the trouble to write that very nice letter. I'm putting that on the left-hand side and not in the bin where the letters usually go. Now, we talked yesterday about false teeth and about how horrible it is not to have them, or how horrible it is to have them, how horrible it is not to have your real teeth, and then how horrible, equally doubly horrible it is to have to wear somebody else's false teeth, and how really, really doubly, triply horrible it is if you have no false teeth and you have to go into the morgue to get them. Michael O'Shea writes to me and he says, Dear Gerry, I lost half my teeth, upper half, in Ardglass, County Down, about 4 weeks ago. Now, look in Gerry Kelly's house. He steals the teeth out of people's mouths. Now, this is apropos a gentleman yesterday who talked about walking his dog in a certain area. I can't remember where it was. And he come across an upper set of false teeth. And he concluded that they had belonged to someone who had taken part in the gymkhana, which had occurred the Saturday before. We concurred, of course, but we never found out who actually owned the teeth, but I'm sure that's a private matter and it was settled between him and whoever hadn't got the teeth. Did we ever find out who owned the teeth?
Did you see the thing last night on television, the item about false teeth?
I missed that.
It was on that, was it a health programme or...
Try and say whole sentences.
All
will you,
right,
please?
then. You know that 7 o'clock programme that you never really watch? You'd be sort of after your dinner, when you're lying sleeping and you're waking up.
All the hateful people are on it. The watchdog.
That's what it's called. And you say, what's
that there? Everybody you don't like is on it.
What are they talking about?
Yeah, and you never look at it.
But there's news.
Come on, try a whole sentence. Come on, you can do it, boy. Come on.
False teeth.
False teeth.
Right?
Yes.
You can go now and get your false teeth in permanently. They open up your gums if you have no teeth.
Yes.
Right? You go along to this is what they're experimenting on this now. I think it's in Belgium or someplace.
Yeah.
But they reckon it'll not be long before it's here.
You mean they open a person's gum?
Slit the gum open and they insert these 2 big screws into the gum and then they put a plate, like shoeing a horse. You put this plate on top of the screws and then they put your plate down on top of this other plate that they've just inserted on top of the screws. Then they screw them in.
But you know what that means?
And it's for the bottom set.
You know what that means, don't you?
What?
That every night before you go to sleep, you have to jam a tumbler into your mouth.
You have to sleep with a tumbler in your head.
Anyway, there's no joke.
But it's good that I was watching
I don't have any false teeth, as you well know. But I know you have.
Well, you haven't got many.
I've none at all. Back to this man here. I lost half my teeth, upper half, in Ardglass, County Down, about 4 weeks ago. Would you please ask the man who found something similar in Ballyclare, County Antrim, if there is a tooth missing from the plate he found? He never mentioned that, actually. I would imagine he would have. If so, this article could be mine. The further queries I have are, 1, how could my teeth travel so far? Well, see, teeth are very fast. Could a seagull have done it? A magpie? Travelling people angered by Jack Straw? Travelling people will take your teeth no bother and take them away because they're being assaulted recently. They bring your teeth to a halting centre.
Why don't? Is there a telephone number for that gentleman or person that you're...
No, he wishes to remain synonymous. That's quite
I was thinking if you had been a phone number, you could have got the gentleman who wrote the letter and Norman, who was on yesterday, who found the teeth and put the two of them on and let them discuss it and find out That's the best way around it.
Yeah, something they could get their teeth into.
Yeah, have you got
Michael O'Shea is his name, but there's no, it's an email. You don't know how to work those.
So there's no phone?
There's no phone number, no. Anyway, he's suggesting that what could have happened to him, a day tripper from Derry passing through Ballyclare. 2, is it worth my while travelling to the Ballyclare police station to try them on? Yes. 3, could the police post them to me for this purpose? Well, police don't normally, the RUC in particular, don't like posting false teeth to people in case, troubles and that kind of thing. Somebody might use them to scare somebody. Thank you for your help. A very confused bread-soaked in soup eater in our glass called Mike. P.S. Your email address in Radio Times does not appear to work. Yes, a false Radio Times email address for this programme has appeared. And I don't know, it's a conspiracy, but our real email address is the following. Gerry.Anderson@bbc.co.uk. The Radio Times has quoted our foil. There's no such email address as our foil. They just guessed it. I've got another email here. I'm sorry for talking so long, but I have things to say. Harry O'Prey writes to me and he says, concerning, or should I say, apropos auto harps. I listened with scarce contained excitement to your broadcast of yesterday. This is a common reaction. Many people are beside themselves listening to this programme and have to grip the arms of their armchairs. A gentleman caller expressed an interest in procuring an auto harp and went on to describe the same in some detail. I remember that conversation particularly well. Your good self made reference to auto harps stroke accoutrements being mentioned some time ago in your esteemed programme. The caller remembered the same, but averred that the instrument was an autochord, an electrically propelled version of the harp. Wrong. As the original caller, I can certainly remember the series of communications arising from my initial inquiries, which was for a key to tune the instrument and not for the instrument itself. As a result, I obtained an old clock key, which does the job perfectly. However, I was unable to find anyone who could teach me the rudiments of how to play the instrument. Your caller is obviously cognizant with the intricacies of auto harp performance, and I'd be interested in making contact with him. That may sound to you like a load of rubbish, but let me just translate that. He had a same thing one time. He got a key for it, but doesn't know how to play it, but would like someone to show him how to play it. That's basically what he's trying to say here. I've got all the stuff here, but we'll leave that for a moment. This is Nancy Griffith and the Crickets. A little feel-good song for those who want to feel good.
Do you want to be loved? Do you want to be kissed? Do you want to be never mistreated or forgotten and always missed? Do you want to belong to me? Am I crazy for feeling all this stuff? I love you so let me know. Do you want to be loved?
Honey, can we talk? Can we step outside? I got a few private things to say that concern my pride.
I can't think, concentrate. It's been about a week since I ate, and the way you look's been eating me alive. Do you want to be loved? Do you want to be killed? Do you want to be never mistreated or forgotten and always missed? Do you want to belong to me? Am I crazy feeling all this stuff?
I love you so.
So let me know, do you want to be loved? Cause I ain't that strong. Oh, I can wait for a minute or two, but even that's too long.
And since that night when we met, I really ain't put my head down yet.
I've been looking for the moon, but it's all gone. Do you wanna be loved? Do you wanna be kissed? Do you wanna be never mistreated or forgotten and always missed? Do you wanna belong to me? Am I crazy feeling all this stuff?
I love you so.
So let me know, do you wanna be loved? I love you so.
Don't let me know.
Do you wanna be loved? I love you so, so let me know. Do you wanna be loved?
That's Nancy Griffith and the Crickets. That's from an album called, let me just check what that's called. That's called 100... Sorry. No, it's called Too Much Monday Morning. The 2 was covered by a piece of tape there, and it looked like 100 Much Monday Mornings. So I read out 100 Much Monday Morning, but it makes no sense. Too Much Monday Morning. That's a song called Do You Want to Be Loved? A duet with Nancy Griffith, and the Crickets. I want to talk now about my descent into drink and drugs hell. No, we'll do it later. Talk of false teeth here. I've got a couple of anecdotes, or as Rose Neal would say, amusing anecdotes from people outside. A person said that one day his uncle put his false teeth in his Wellington boots beside his bed at night and couldn't find them the next day. That's a very not very unusual tale, that, really. A man had an accident in Cork. His false teeth were broken. He went to the police and they sent him to the morgue. The person in the morgue opened a drawer, and there was loads of false teeth. He got a pair that fitted perfectly. I don't think people want to hear about that kind of stuff in the morning. My mother had an operation. She didn't wear her false teeth for a few days after the operation. For weeks after, she began to complain that her false teeth were not comfortable. She went back to her dentist. He said, "How long have you been smoking?" My mother said, "I never smoked." The dentist said, "Well, these aren't your false teeth." She came home and threw them out at the bottom of the garden, which indeed is a very dangerous thing to do, because some little fairy may come along and wear them accidentally, some little non-smoking fairy, and would be very upset at all. Right, I have to read this. NIMBA, the Northern Ireland Mother and Baby Appeal. I can't talk today, I know, but I can't help it. They're launching a new fundraising project on Thursday, the 26th of August. It's a splash-a-thon sponsored by Milupa. It's aimed towards mother and toddler groups, and to help launch the event, fundraising entrepreneur, good friend of this programme, Mr. Willie Nugent, who is completely, absolutely mad, will be dressed as a Victorian bather and will be dry swimming around the City Hall in Belfast. Also on the 26th of August, that's from 1 p.m. until 2:30 p.m. So why not take a plunge? It says pick up a registration form and splash for NIMBA. You know, there are far too many people taking part. Listen, excuse me.
Right.
Excuse
Hold
me,
on
who's
till I
that?
get this number. Wait,
Who
go
is
ahead.
that?
Give me the number.
Right.
Right.
We don't know who it is.
Right. Right.
Is that the...
What's his name? John. I'll ring him now then.
I'm waiting for a particular woman here. Is that a woman called Maeve?
Hands on the wheel, driving along. Just how good I feel, I'm coming home. I'm going home to you. Well, I've been working all week, from morning to night. When I see you, baby, I'm gonna take you out tonight. I'm going home. I'm going home to you. Yeah, and when I hit the blacktop, there's nothing gonna stop me now. I got an old beat-up truck, a tank full of gas, cruising down the highway. I'm really going fast. I'm going home. I'm going home to you. With 18 wheels upon the blacktop, there's nothing gonna stop me now. This lonesome old road just seems to have no end. You're getting closer with every bend. Yeah, I'm driving along, wind in my hair, driving along, and I ain't got a care. I'm going home. I'm going home to you. Lady wings upon the blacktop, there's nothing gonna stop me now. With 18 wheels upon the blacktop, there's nothing gonna stop me now.
That's local singer John Farry. That's an album called Words and Music. That's a song called Driving. That's very good, then. I'd like to thank Jimmy Quinn, who sends me two CDs, one of Chet Baker, they're jazz, and the other one is Dave Brubeck. But we daren't play those for the people this morning because it might frighten them. And he wants me to play Dinah Krall, vocals and piano, doing a good job on The Folks Who Live on the Hill. I don't have that with me at the moment. We'll see what we can do later on.
You find romance in the grave of this dirty one-eyed town. Me, I've got to get away. What gets you high just gets me down. And the difference in our dreams I can briefly summarize. You are winter city streets, I am summer country skies. Every day my heart cries for the blue summer country skies. You can keep your kitchen sink, I can see a mountain stream. You escape inside a drink, I prefer to dream. There's a hunger in my heart, nothing ever satisfies. In these winter city streets, give me summer country skies. Unlike you, my heart lies 'neath the blue summer country skies. While your fascination grows with the pleasures of the night, my imagination goes on a multicolored flight to a land that wears a smile and where beauty fills my eyes, far from winter city streets, 'neath the summer country skies.
That's Charlie Lansbury. It's a song called Summer Country Skies from one of his early albums called Songs from the Heart. Is Charlie Lansbury coming in here on Friday?
Yes, he is indeed.
It's very interesting. I'm looking forward to talking to him because he's had a very interesting career of late. A lot of people think he's just arsing about doing nothing, but apparently he's been away in America, in Nashville, recording and singing and indeed songwriting with the greats.
He's bringing in his new CD.
I believe so. Did he record that in Nashville or did he record it elsewhere? You don't know, do you?
He recorded in Nashville, I do know.
Well,
and there's
I
only
hear...
two of his songs on the CD. The rest are sort of songs written by other people.
I'm kind of looking forward to it because I'm very thrilled to be able to introduce this CD to the people because no one else has heard this before. This is a first, isn't it?
We had a complaint this morning, and
Really,
I don't know how to handle this.
Well, give it to me. I'm in.
Right,
I'm in
there's a gentleman phoned to say that he'd called to a certain hotel.
Yes.
He called this day, and it's in the south. And he went up to the south of Ireland, and he went up to Donegal, actually, but don't even mention the hotel, all right?
Absolutely not, no.
No. And
but you know the name of the hotel?
Yes, and having...
Whereabouts in Donegal is it?
I don't want to say.
Come on, south, west, north,
I'm not
east?
going to say. But he had...
Near here?
Sterling on him. And he said,
sterling on him?
Yes, and he says, what's the exchange? How much do you allow? And Sterling, he says, we don't allow anything.
I warned the people about this before in this programme.
So he thought, okay. So it had to go back to it either a week later or whatever.
Yes.
And he said, I must just see what they're doing now with the old pound punt business.
Yeah.
And he went up to the bar or someone and says, how much do you allow on the sterling? He said, it's a pound for punt. We don't allow anything.
Yes.
So, what do we do in this situation? It's
Call the police.
Well-known hotel.
Well, I tell you what I think. I think this is
It's owned by someone that you know.
Pardon?
Owned by someone that you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Do I have any shares in it?
I don't know.
Great.
And yesterday I was talking to a man who told me that his sister saw your bare bum.
Was this recently?
Yes.
How recently? Like within the
A
last
couple
10
of weeks
years?
ago.
Really? I wonder how that happened.
Well, I
Did
don't
you
want to...
explain how that happened?
He did.
He did.
He explained to me how his sister... And there was
Saw
other...
my bare bum.
Yes, and there was other pregnant women there. And they saw your bare bum as well.
You mean I've exposed my bare bum to a number of pregnant women?
Mm-hmm.
This is
Not intentionally. You
Well, I would
understand?
imagine not. But this is
Maybe
not-
I shouldn't be talking about this because this is your private life and it's personal and I shouldn't be doing this.
I'm going
so I'm going to stop
no,
it
but
now.
later on I'm going to talk my descent into drink and drugs hell, so why not?
No, I don't want to do this. It's not fair.
No, come on, you've started, sir, as Magnus Magnuson said. You're going to have to finish. Well, I have no recollection whatsoever of showing my bare bum to a number of pregnant
No, you
ladies.
didn't show it, but
They saw it.
They peeped at it.
Well, I can't understand how this possibly could have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Go and
Think
explain
about
to me.
it. No,
Give-
think about it.
No, I'm not going to think about it. I'll never think about it. It'll never come to me.
When
I
was
want
it-
you
well,
to tell me. I
when
want
was
you
the
to get
last
rid of
time
your-
you had...
took my trousers off?
Yes.
In front of pregnant women?
Yes.
I can't think.
It was quite recently.
Was it really?
Yes.
Was it in the course of my job?
No.
As a BBC radio
No,
broadcaster?
no.
I never take my trousers
And
off.
they were all giggling. He says they had a great laugh.
I'm sure
they
they
giggled
did.
themselves. Every so often it appeared.
What appeared?
Your bum.
Be very careful what you say here. No, hold on. Stop laughing like that. People don't like it. No, I deliberately removed my trousers in front of pregnant women.
You were asked to.
I was asked to. Well, give me an idea. I don't
No,
need...
it's your personal life and I don't want
What's
to get into
the
it. The Sunday
context?
papers could be listening to this.
The Sunday papers are listening to this now. You're the one that brought it up, remember? Mm-hmm. And, well, was I embarrassed? Was I aware that they were watching my bare bum?
Probably not.
I was unaware of it.
Yes, well, I would say.
In other words-
I would say you were conscious that your bum was exposed
Exposed.
from time to time.
But not conscious that pregnant women were watching it.
you probably were.
Do I have to drag everything out of you?
Yes, because it's personal and it's your private
Well, why
life,
did you
and I
bring
don't
it up
like
then?
doing this.
Why did you bring it up?
Because a man said to me yesterday, says, "Hey, the sister saw Anderson's bare bum." He says,
You mean
"Wait,
to say that pregnant women are going home and telling their brothers about my bum? Is that
Yes.
what's going on here?
Yes, there are people talking about your bare bum.
I didn't realise it was such a topic of conversation at all. As a matter of fact, I'm shocked and indeed surprised to
Think
find
about
that
it.
women would tell their brothers about what they saw. In
Where were you? You've got to think now where you were.
Okay, let's narrow this down. Was it in a pub?
No.
That's all. That's where I always am. Would it have been in some physical fitness emporium?
Close, near, but
Close? In a close?
No, you're
Up a close?
No.
In an entry? In an alley?
cul-de-sac. And you couldn't back out.
Oh, a dead end.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yes.
It wasn't in a... See, I don't go to health clubs and stuff like that. Incidentally, there's somebody keep sending us emails about the David Lloyd... What's it stop? Whoever sent us emails about the David Lloyd Centre, leave us alone. Sorry.
Right.
Would it have been somewhere like that?
I'll talk to you. I'll tell you about it during
No,
the news.
I want to find out before the news at 11 o'clock. Now, I want to ask you another thing.
Right.
Were these pregnant ladies in an advanced stage of confinement?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know?
No. When you were
Well, you
there,
seem to know- you seem to know
you were
quite a-
there.
You seem to know quite a lot.
Yeah.
Well, was I... Oh, hold on a minute.
Yes. Ah. No.
Hold on a minute. Was it in a hospital?
Yes.
Do you see those women?
Aye.
I am never speaking to them again. I said to them, I said, if any of this leaks out...
Your gown was open at the back,
I know it was.
and they were all choking.
Let me just explain what happened. Every once in a while, because the BBC are concerned about my dying and living, I have to go for certain little tests, which are not life-threatening in any way. It doesn't mean to say that I'm ill or anything, just routine. And you have to put a gown on.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you don't do it up at the back. I was aware that my bum was trailing, but I could see their bums too.
Well, fair play then, is it?
Well, I wish you'd tell them not to tell their brothers about it. Because I'm very embarrassed about
Oh.
it. Because, see, I don't know why they... It's a good job they didn't open those gowns up the front, isn't it?
Look at the time.
I know the time. Right, this is the time. The time is now coming up to 11 o'clock. I'm very embarrassed by all this. I thought it was,
You never showed it to us.
Well, no. We'll be back.
Thankfully.
Thankfully. We'll be back after the news approximately in a more decent way. Thank you. Goodbye.
BBC Radio Ulster News at 11 o'clock. This is Linda McCauley. An American radar company is expected to confirm this morning that it's to create more than 100 jobs in Londonderry. Raytheon Systems Limited had already indicated that it was going to set up in the city. Chris Capper reports.
Although it was already known the American defence company was coming to Derry, the details of the investment will be made clear within the next hour. The First Minister, David Trimble, will be among those at the city's Guildhall for the announcement. It's a timely boost for the confidence of Derry, coming so soon after the damage caused to the city centre and disturbances following the Apprentice Boys parade. That damage will cost around £4 million to repair, and the city's Lord Mayor said he was concerned about Derry's investment prospects. But this morning's confirmation that a major American company is still prepared to invest can only help the city's image.
The Ulster Unionist Deputy Leader John Taylor has attacked Chris Patton over his report on the future of policing here, which is due to be published next month. Mr Taylor says he's been told that the Patton Commission will change the name of the RUC.
I think it's important to warn Mr Patton and the Commission and the Government that changing the name will wreck the other proposals. There's more to this reorganisation of the RUC than the name. The whole structure of the RUC is important. And that's what people would give serious attention to if the name were retained. But if you also abolish the name RUC, this will be a very emotional issue right throughout Northern Ireland and in Britain.
But the DUP's Justice spokesman Ian Paisley Jr. has accused the Strangford MP of hypocrisy. He says Mr Taylor initiated changes to the RUC by accepting the Belfast Agreement.
He signed the Belfast Agreement. His party leader told us this was as good as it gets. This was the best deal ever. And yet it initiated the Patton Commission. It initiated a whole series of changes to its organisation, its management structure, and has set in place a blueprint that is irreversible. And for John Taylor now to suddenly be the saviour of the RUC is nothing less than gross hypocrisy.
Firefighters are still battling a fire on board a container ship in the English Channel following a collision between a cruise liner and a cargo vessel. There were more than 2,000 passengers on board the Norwegian Dream when she was involved in the collision. Several containers on the cargo ship are still on fire, but a spokesman for Dover Coast Guard, Rod Johnson, said their main concern was the danger posed by missing containers and debris to other vessels.
A container stack in that area is still burning, and some containers have come adrift. Most of them, luckily, fell onto the foredeck of the passenger ship. We're not entirely sure at this stage how much debris is still floating around in the Thames estuary, but we are producing computer models of the likely drift of such wreckage so that we can warn shipping.
6 police officers have been injured at Stockport in Greater Manchester after being attacked by a man wielding a sword. It's understood police have been called to a disturbance. 5 of the officers were released after treatment. The 6th, who suffered deep wounds to his arm, is awaiting surgery. A man has been arrested. Traffic and travel news now with Gavin Healy.
Expect hold-ups if you plan to use the Hollywood Road or Castlereagh Road areas of Belfast today. Gas pipe laying work continues here with lane restrictions in place. In Brockshane, the Buckner Road remains closed today while work continues on the nearby bridge. Diversions are in place here. And at the international airport, the British Airways flight from Manchester due at 11:20 has been delayed. This should now land at 12:20. Meanwhile, the Eurocypria Airlines flight from Larnaca has also been delayed due at 12:30. A delay means this flight won't now arrive until 1:10.
And the weather, dry and bright, rain later. BBC Radio Ulster News.
You're listening to the music of Alan Kelly in the company of Cathal Hayden, Frank Kilkelly and Damien Evans, who, along with my other guests, singer Sean Keane, provide the music and song for tonight's edition of Summerfolk. I'm Siobhan Skates and I hope you can join me just after 10 here on BBC Radio Ulster.
Thank you, Siobhan. What a nice Australian accent that is. I often wished I were Australian, that I'd be able to talk like that. Be different, wouldn't it? Anyway, welcome back. This is Gerry Anderson here. It's 5 minutes past 11 o'clock. It's Tuesday morning. We'll be here until 12 o'clock. if you want to contact this programme, there's every reason why you should feel pleased to do so. The number to ring is 0645 555 678. That's 0645 555 678. During the course of the news there, I was just thinking about how much this country's gone back. I remember years and years ago, the National Health Service was something to be respected. But now that I look back on this last couple of weeks, I realise that people in the National Health, and especially the hospital service, would put their patients at risk by making them walk down a corridor with their bum hanging out. And especially if the person at risk with their bum hanging out is a well-known radio and used to be television presenter, it's very embarrassing indeed, because a situation arises whereby this rebounds back to his detriment and is discussed on the radio on a certain morning, and the person feels very embarrassed indeed. So I would like to apologise for any of those people who inadvertently saw my bum in a hospital corridor about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I'd like to assure them that I don't make a habit of it, and that what I was wearing wasn't a habit either, but it approximated a habit, except that the next time I go to hospital, the thing that I wear walking up and down the corridor will be buttoned up the front, so I can keep an eye on things, so to speak, so that the general public are not upset or discommodited in any way. Thank you very much. That's the end of the announcement. Let the singing begin in a moment.
Knows how long I've loved you. You know I love you still. Will I wait a lonely lifetime? If you want me to, I will. And if I ever saw you, I didn't catch your name, but it never really matters. I will always feel the same. Love you forever and forever. Love you with all my heart. Love you whenever we're together. Love you when we're apart. And when at last I find you, your song will fill the air. Sing it loud so I can hear you. Make it easy to be near you. And the things you do endear you to me. How you know I will love you forever and forever. Love you with all my heart. Love you whenever we're together. Love you when we're apart. And when at last I find you, your song will fill the air. Sing it loud so I can hear you. Make it easy to be near you. And the things you do endear you to me. How you know
That's Alison Krauss, sounding remarkably like Minnie Mouse. That's a song called I Will. You'll recognise that. You're probably saying to yourself, where did I hear that before? That's an old Beatles song, then McCartney, of course it is, from a long time ago. That's from an album called Now That I've Found You, a collection by Alison Krauss. Alison Krauss! Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Sorry, I just lapsed into stage German there. This occurs to me an odd time. Sometimes I become a Nazi. Anyway, what can we do for you?
I overheard you having a conversation about the punt and the pound.
Yes, indeed.
I was there, pardon?
Yes, go ahead.
I was in Dublin on Sunday there. I had no ticket for the Mayo-Meath match. Mayo and Cork match. So I was down with the wife and I had to go into a public bar in Talbot Street, an upmarket bar. The owner is a County Cavan man, and the bar is adorned with county colours and photographs of Christy Ring, etc., etc., etc.
Oh, the swines, yeah.
So he had the Manchester United, I forget who was playing, some soccer match on television, and he refused to put the Gaelic match on.
Well, you see, you have to remember that Manchester United were playing Arsenal that
Well, that's what it was.
particular day.
You're more up to date than I am.
Yeah, well, you see, this takes precedence over almost anything.
Does it? The national game.
I'm afraid that's the way it is. You see, because...
well, I ordered a drink, and I asked him, is there a second television? He says no. So he gave me my money back, he did.
For what?
Because I wouldn't watch the soccer match. I wanted the Gaelic match on, he says no.
What money did he give you back?
Oh, no, he gave me the proper money back. He did. And he laid me 15 pence in pound, too. He did.
I don't quite understand you. Did you buy a drink?
I did. I'd ordered a drink, you see.
And, so he didn't give you the drink?
He just had it on the counter, and I asked him, could I see the Gaelic match?
Oh, so he took the drink away?
He hasn't refunded the money.
Oh, I thought you said he'd give you the drink and then wouldn't charge you for it.
No. So I went across another bar across the way, and 9 customers from that bar followed me over with the same complaint.
Right.
So it's like a paid paper.
Right,
but honestly, I can't understand for the life of me why they're so soccer mad in Dublin.
Well, you see, it's a worldwide thing. I blame...
It's a weakness, is it?
It's a weakness. I blame Rupert Murdoch myself. There was a time, I remember... This doesn't seem an awful long time ago, but the whole thing has gone completely insane.
That's right.
About 5 or 6 years ago, I used to be in Manchester occasionally on a Saturday to do some odds and ends. And I used to stay in a hotel in the middle of Manchester. Right, and I used to be in there on a Saturday morning. I used to be having breakfast about kind of 10 o'clock, to the last possible time to get it. And I remember I was there regularly for about 4 or 5 weeks. And most Saturday mornings, you'd be sitting there, and maybe somebody else sitting at another table, late breakfasters.
Yes.
And always, Alec Ferguson would come in with the Manchester United team. And they'd all sit and they'd have their breakfast. And nobody cared about them.
Yes.
And you'd look over and you say, oh, there's Alec Ferguson, oh, there's so-and-so. Just as a kind of a matter of interest. And nobody took them on at all. And then what happened was, after they had their breakfast, they went out and they sat about the lounge and nobody bothered about them. Yeah. And then the bus would come, and then they'd get on it and go off to Liverpool and play them, whatever it was. It was no big deal. Yeah. It was because, it was after, I know I don't have to explain this to you, it was after the Premier League was formed and all the big money became...
You're losing me here.
Sorry. It's because after the Premiership, and the great amount of money that was pumped into the game, and then especially after the 1996 European Championships, that soccer became not a game, but a religion.
Oh, I see, right.
And I know it's difficult for someone like you to understand, who you're probably a sensible person.
Thank you.
But there are lots of people all round who look exactly the same, who claim to be fans of Manchester United.
Well, before we finish our conversation, I'd like to point this out to you. There was 2 chaps sitting on the counter with large red hats on them. I thought they were Cork supporters, and I pointed this out to the barman. He says, no, they're Manchester United.
No, you see, I'm afraid you're being left behind by the digital...
yes, apparently so.
The digital revolution has passed you by.
That's right, yes.
There are people like yourself who, when they see people wearing red, they think of Cork.
That's right.
You're wrong.
That's right.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Even, you must see this in everyday life. Even all the advertisements on television about things like cornflakes and everything, they're all about people playing football. Everything is football.
True enough, not my local area, but we have 2 premier public houses on the Falls Road there, Celtic and Manchester United, so it goes to show I'm getting left behind,
You are getting left behind.
Yeah. Have to go look for help.
So you don't necessarily need help, because what I'll say to you is this.
Tablets?
No, you don't need tablets. What I'm saying to you is this, that there are far too many people like yourself who are puzzled about this and who join the soccer supporters. Don't join them.
No, I will
Stay
not.
outside.
No.
Be different. Dare to be different.
I played a Gaelic football, and the chairman of our club used to call them the lower strata.
The lower strata.
The lower strata.
It doesn't matter what it is, Gaelic football, hurtling, it could be ice hockey, it could be ordinary hockey, it could be girls hockey, which is even better if you're a spectator.
Yes.
So people should avoid football at all, because it's all going to turn ugly in the end.
Yes.
Because there comes a time when there's nothing else in the world will matter. And we're close to that now. There comes a time when there's nothing else in the world will matter than football.
Yes.
And everything else will be... Even the earthquake doesn't matter. The most important thing is Manchester United, would they beat Arsenal?
That's right. Yes, one would, yeah.
And Zoe Ball's marriage. These are the things that are important in the world today. Will Zoe Ball get married in a blaze of publicity, or will she do it privately, and will she have a bottle of Jack Daniels and a fag and a cowboy hat when she's doing it? And will David Beckham score?
Who do they play for?
Who?
Who do they play for?
No, these are people... See, you're obviously completely outside the mainstream. What you need to do, you need to get... I have to advise you, for your happiness, to make sure that you're up to speed with what's going on. I want you to buy The Sun every day for the next 2 weeks. Yeah, and read it from cover to cover, and then you'll know everything you need to know to exist happily in this world today.
And that includes page 3.
especially page 3, because when you see a girl walking down the street, whereas before you used to say, hello, what you'll say now is, wow! Okay?
Right, okay. Thanks
You
for your
learn
help.
all that. Let me know.
Right.
Read the Sun for a week and then come back and then I'll ask you questions.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. I'll ask him questions about what Zoe Ball drinks before she gets married. You know, and stuff like that, and what kind of fags she smokes, and why does she wear a cowboy hat, and why can't she buy a pair of jeans with no holes in them? Little things like that he will know. They're trick questions. Do you see when I was married?
What?
Yeah, right. Here's another Manchester United supporter, Doris Day.
Admit you love me, and so how am I ever to know? You always tell me, perhaps. A million times I've asked you, and then I ask you over again. You only answer, perhaps. If you can't make your mind up, we'll never get started. And I don't want to wind up being parted, broken hearted. So if you really love me, say yes, but if you don't, dear, confess, and please don't tell me, perhaps. If you can't make your mind up, we'll never get started. And I don't want to wind up being parted, broken hearted. So if you really love me, say yes. But if you don't, dear, confess. And please don't tell me, perhaps.
You don't need me to tell you that's Doris Day. It's a song called Perhaps. The Times. What's this? Oh, the Hillsborough International Oyster Festival is on between the 9th and the 11th of September, inclusive. And as I know from past experience that no International Oyster Festival is complete without Pamela Ballantyne, I look and I find that she is there on the Saturday. Hello, good morning. Hello? 3? Hello?
Yes?
Sorry, I was in the wrong extension there.
Yes, Gerry.
How are you?
I wanted to find out if anyone possesses a recording of the final day's play in the 4th Test match, or indeed a recording of the highlights that were broadcast on Channel 4 around about 7 till half 7 Sunday night. I had to go to church at midday, and by the time I got back, it was over.
You sound to me like a man who wants to gloat over England's defeat.
No, on the contrary. No, I've just watched it very avidly every day, as I do every summer, and I missed the most important day. And I feel sort of bereft without it, you know.
Yeah. Well, see, I would say the possibility of somebody recording an entire day's play at a test match would be kind of slim.
Except it was a very short day's play, you see. I mean, it lasted only for about 2.5 hours.
Was that the day they collapsed completely?
That was one of the days when they collapsed, yes.
You may marvel at my cricketing knowledge. No, the only reason I know that is because I every once in a while look at these things.
Yes.
And it's a proud day when we discover that England is the worst in the world at something.
Well, I don't quite take that view, but I've always enjoyed cricket, and as I say, I watch it avidly every day during my summer holidays. I'm a teacher, you see, so it's always part of my summer, and I missed, through a coincidence of circumstances, the most important day, and I'll miss it, you know. And I've read newspaper reports about it several, but it's not the same.
So you want to see the collapse for yourself?
Well, I just like to see the wickets falling and so on, you know.
There's been a great improvement in cricket coverage recently since it's gone to Channel 4.
I'm not sure about that.
No, but you can hear the wickets louder.
Yes, they've got all sorts of microphones in the stumps and all sorts of stuff. And you can hear the umpires saying, no, not out, etc.
Not at all. Catch yourself on, wise up. And whenever the ball hits the stumps, it hits with an almighty crack.
But there's something, Gerry, that your listeners could contribute to. Is the current Channel 4 coverage any better or not quite as good as the previous BBC? Bearing in mind that after every over, they cut to adverts for cars or lollipops or something.
No, I don't think it's as good. I really don't think it's as good. But the BBC should have done those things before.
Yes,
I think
right.
if we had had the BBC, I think the commentary is much better in the BBC and much more informative.
Yes.
Hold on a minute. I'll put you through now, please.
What?
Day?
What?
It's the same commentators.
Richie Benno.
He's on.
He's been dead for 10 years.
He's on, see. And also they have a snickometer.
Yes, but Richie Benno is the only person common to both. All the others are strangers.
I know.
They're young, yuppie-looking types who really know very little about anything.
You don't want those people about you. No, not for a cricket match. You want old gnarled guys with pipes.
They remind me of estate agents, Gerry. You know, people with pinstripe suits and two levels. You know?
People who try to sell your car that you don't want.
That's right, exactly the same sort.
If the BBC had their snickometer and had the thing on their bales that you'd make them go thunder, and you could hear the umpire cursing and stuff, and still had John Oz and John all it. It would have been much better.
Oh yes.
There's a case for it. Now I think it's I have a sneaking regard for cricket. I think it's one of the most. I kind of like it, and the reason why I like it is because I think it's one of the most ridiculous of games. When I was younger, I used to play. When I was very young, I used to kind of play it, but not with a real ball.
Yes.
With a kind of an ordinary ball.
A tennis ball, yeah.
Yeah, and I used to kind of like it. So I found myself in Manchester when I was about 17 or 18, and there was a test match on.
Old Trafford.
Yeah, Old Trafford with Australia. And I went to see it, and I couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
I was sitting there, and I kept wondering when it was going to start.
You're 150 yards away from the wicket, that's right.
It was the most unbelievably boring spectator sport I have ever
Well, it's good on TV.
I had no idea what was going on when I was at it. I had to ask the guy beside me.
I know exactly what you mean. Everybody brings their binoculars, you see.
Because nobody knows what's going on.
But when you say cricket's a silly game, I sort of take issue with you slightly in that, Gerry, because I think all games are a bit silly, you know, and I think that's the glory of them, is they're all silly and good fun. And you were talking, I think, earlier to somebody about commercialisation of sport.
Yeah.
And I've no doubt that the vast commercialisation of football has been responsible for an awful lot of the violence, not to mention death in football and so on. If people remembered it was just a silly activity, kicking a ball around, hitting a ball with a bit of stick, wouldn't the world be a better place and everybody would enjoy it more?
Yeah. The only thing that worries me, actually, and it doesn't worry me because I don't care really, what worries me is that these footballers are being placed up on such a pedestal. And there was a programme on last night with, what do you call that fellow with no neck? What do you call the fellow with no neck who does that programme on a Monday night? John Inverdale. Where's his neck? He hasn't got one.
I don't know. What was he a cricketer or what was John Inverdale?
He was a broadcaster on Radio 5.
Yeah, but did he play? There's a
No, not at all. He looked to me, by the look of his neck, he was a rugby player.
He also a sporting background.
I think he had a sporting background.
Yes.
He looks like he was a rugby player because he's got the big legs on him. You know the big legs you can't sit down in.
Well, I wasn't really looking.
No, but that's his name anyway. But he had all these footballers on last night, and they were just kind of like gods, and they're kind of sitting there, and I think they were slightly embarrassed.
Was he the one who was talking to Nasser Hussain, the captain of the aforementioned...
Indeed, he had Nasser Hussain and he had Jan Lucky Van Delly, or whatever you call him, the manager of Chelsea, and then he had Graham Souness on. The three of them were sitting on the couch looking very uncomfortable, so he asked them stupid questions about things that nobody cared about. But they answered them, and everybody, the audience loved them.
You see, when people start talking about the malaise at the heart of English cricket, all this sort of nonsense, you know, I mean, they forget that it's a game, isn't it? It's a sport.
It's a game,
When did you hear people talk about the malaise at the heart of English ping pong or shove halfpenny?
Well, funnily enough, there's a malaise in the heart of English beach ball because the girls can't get enough clothes on them, and I don't know what the reason for that is. I don't know. You want the collapse then?
I'd be very grateful. I'll borrow it or pay for it or buy it or do whatever the owner wishes me to do, and I'll return it if they want it. But I'm dying to see it because my summer is incomplete without it, Gerry.
Absolutely. And this is for was it Sunday or Saturday? Sunday. Okay.
The final day.
All right then. So last Sunday, if anyone's got a videotape of the proceedings at wherever it was.
Or of the highlights, the abbreviated highlights.
Or indeed the abbreviated highlights. Contact us and you shall make arrangements with them.
I'd be very grateful.
All right then, thank you.
Thank you, Gerry.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes?
Hi, Gerry. Good morning to you.
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can indeed. Just go ahead.
Good man. The other I was thinking of, there's an old Belfast expression called clodding.
Yes.
Right? As if you were clodding stones at a lamppost.
Yes.
Right? It seems to follow on from that other gentleman who was talking about cricket and they're clodding balls at a load of wee sticks.
It's only appropriate you should follow on.
Right. So I thought so. But I wonder if any of your great listeners there could elaborate on the origins of clodding.
Well, yes, but that's only one of a number of words that are used to denote the throwing of missiles at the army or otherwise.
That's right.
Well, we used to refer in Derry Stoke Londonderry to pagan stones at the army.
Yeah.
And these were not non-Christian stones.
Mm-hmm.
These were
they were pagan stones.
pagan stones at the army.
Yeah, but
well,
they a Belfast expression is they used to clod haffers. Right?
Haffers. Clod haffers. That's half
clod
bricks.
Haffers at the army, right? Which see, very economical. You see, if you could throw 2 missiles instead of 1,
that's right.
Maximum throw the whole brick.
Maximum input.
Yes.
What I imagine would be clodding would be possibly a derivation of what you probably would know as a sod of earth.
Yes.
Remember what people used to lift a sod and clodded it? Because clodding the sod.
It might be that. It might be that. I looked up the dictionary. I couldn't find it.
Well, I'll tell you what. One thing is certain. Someone will ring up and tell us.
Thank you very much, Gerry.
Right, clodding stones at the army.
Clodding.
Right.
Clodding haffers. Clodding haffers at the army.
Clodding haffers at the armed forces. Right.
Yes.
Okay.
God bless you. Thanks very much.
My God. Oh. Here's a song in 3 languages. We'll put your names in the duncher.
Bonbon car is a bonbon car. Bonbon car, c'est le bonbon car. Bonbon car is a bonbon car. Bonbon car is a bonbon car. Bonbon car, c'est le bonbon car. Bonbon car is a bonbon car.
Goede meisje kan door wie mij ook. Ik call him on and I'll kill him joke. See it's amongst some bonbon car. Door a hook she ship. The shan shanar. Vi kor a cool. Vi kursi until vi grow. Kill ugs rock and roll. Dini ship good drach a tree. Comic ship such a error on shlee. It's misha on fire. She bonbon car. A bonbon car is a Donny spar. It's misha on fire. She bonbon car. A hainer hers all the no yard. It's misha on fire. She bonbon car. A bonbon car is a Donny spar. It's misha on fire. She bonbon car. A bonbon car.
Quand j'étais jeune, on me racontait l'histoire d'une belle donzelle qui venait de Bala, propriétaire de la bonbon car chacun avait du respect à son égard. Elle a pris un jeune en stock, il parle des heures d'amour et de rock. D'un seul coup, il eut un pont magique, illuminé par des lumières mystiques.
Din soldier dorm bon oxby egg wink a mushy old get in the ring. Husk shit rink a guard on car. Con shit put and calling stump bar. Shah a bonbon car. A bonbon car. Austin a node. A honeycomb car. The metal step. So bonbon car. To Moham east of Bertu. Oh, get some mission on a fire. A bonbon car. A bonbon car. It's a Donny spar. Mission on fire. A bonbon car. A bonbon car.
Voit d'été dans son verre eux qui leur jette de la poudre aux yeux. D'un seul coup ils se retrouvent tous deux à Tirnan au pays béni des dieux. Leur voiture marche au bon whisky, ils peuvent acheter au duty free. Et s'ils restent dans ce lieu béni, à jamais ils seront en vie.
It's mission on fire, let's bonbon car. It's a bonbon car, it's a Donny spar. It's mission on fire, let's bonbon car. Hey there, hers on the no yard. It's mission on fire, let's bonbon car. A bonbon car, it's a Donny spar. It's mission on fire, let's bonbon car. A bonbon car. It's mission on fire, let's bonbon car. It's a bonbon car, it's a Donny spar. It's mission on fire, let's bonbon car. Hey there, hers on the no yard.
That's a group called Duna. It's a song called Bun Bun Car. And before you start ringing talk back and annoying David, the three languages were Irish, French and Catalan Spanish.
Not too many years ago, when dreams weren't coming true, I'd reach for inspiration. Sometimes it would be you. I'd hear you on the radio. I sure didn't like your sound. Say it's good to know there's still a few old country boys around. From the smoke, it's hard to tell what's coming down the line. We heard you were a fast train coming out of Carolina. We wondered what you were hauling when you rolled into town. Say it's good to know there's still a few old country boys around. You must have felt that same old feeling more than once or twice. Guitars pressed against our hearts under the neon lights. I've got to say that feeling is the best that I have found. Lord, it's good to know there's still a few old country boys around. There's a lot of truth, you know, in our kind of songs about the life you're living and how love done you wrong. As long as there's a jukebox and a honky-tonkin' town, it's good to know there's still a few old country boys around. It's good to know there's still a few old country boys around.
That's a song for the Hugo people. That's a song by Randy Travis and George Jones, although not the Chime Challenge George Jones, the other normal George Jones. This is a song called A Few Old Country Boys. It's not the usual crap, actually. It's quite good. I like that. Hello, Paddy. Good
Hello,
morning.
Gerry.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm the very best.
That's good.
I'll tell you what I've got. I've got a slight problem.
Yes.
A wee girl, 6, and we were down in a town called Blackwater Town on Sunday.
Yes.
And she had a wee teddy bear. It's about a foot high with pyjamas and all on it and a hat. And this teddy bear has been everywhere with her, including a couple of days in the hospital.
Yes.
And she left the teddy on a wall.
In Blackwater
and some
Town.
very nice, kind young person lifted the teddy and threw it into the river.
That's nice.
And I've tried a few shops. I can't get one anywhere.
So the teddy itself, the one that's in the river, that's finished, is it?
That's finished. I couldn't get it. Floated away down the Black River.
Water.
Blackwater, yeah.
Yeah. So no chance of getting that back then?
There's no chance of getting it back. It's gone.
Right.
But I was wondering if anybody would know where you could get one. It was a blue and red striped nighty jacket sort of thing on it with a cap, and you pressed its paw and it played a few wee songs, you know.
All right.
It was a limited edition, and it seems to be that nobody does them, you know.
What age is your wee girl?
She's 6.
Yeah. Well,
So she's come up against her first thing that there's everybody in the world isn't good, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a nasty little thing to do, wasn't it?
Well, I was wondering if it had been a bottle of whiskey or a £10 note, would he have threw it in the river, you know?
Did you see this person do this?
No, I went into the shop and an elderly man on a stick tried to stop him.
You mean this fellow went over and he just...
lifted the teddy off the wall and fired it in the river.
And was your daughter kind of around there? Was she somewhere...
She was about maybe 20 foot away.
And he just threw it in the river?
Just lifted it and threw it in the river.
What a swine.
Well...
Sounds like a man with drink taken.
It sounds as if somebody's got a problem, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's a problem, yeah. Person need to be... Yeah. So, okay then. So let's not dwell too much about that. At least she knows now that there are people like that about. But
well, I bought her another teddy yesterday, but it's not the same one, and I suppose she can never replace it.
She wants the one with the cap on it.
She wants the one with the cap on it, and I can't get one.
So, what you're talking about is a teddy with a kind of is it pyjamas or a nightie?
Pyjamas.
Pyjamas. What colour are they?
They're blue and red.
Blue and red pyjamas. A wee trousers and a wee top.
And a cap to match.
And a cap to match.
And she even had a nappy on it.
Oh, well, she added the nappy herself.
Yeah.
All right. It doesn't come standard with a nappy on it.
It doesn't come with a nappy.
All right, then. Okay, well, maybe someone out there would have spotted something like that, or maybe some shopkeeper would have that in stock. Where do you live yourself? What area do you live in?
Ballyclare.
Tullyclare, where's that?
Ballyclare.
Oh, sorry, Ballyclare. I thought you said Tullyclare. I never heard of it. Ballyclare, of course.
You had a man on yesterday that found false teeth.
That's right, yeah.
I was going to say there's 2 or 3 boys in Ballyclare always walks with their head down, you know, looking for money in the grass or something.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I don't think Norman's that broke yet to be doing that.
No, well, that was Ballyclare. The teeth were found, yeah. So, all right then. So let's see if anyone out there can help you with that. A teddy bear in pyjamas with a cap.
Yes.
And if you press its paw, what does it do?
It sings sleep with me, you know, them sort of wee songs.
Yeah, I must get one of those myself, but save me a lot of trouble in pubs. All right then, okay.
Thank you, Gerry.
Okay, let's ask the people out there to help us, because obviously, all joking aside, that's been a traumatic thing for the wee girl to see that sort of thing, isn't it? What is that noise?
That's I'm on a building site here up in Dundonald.
And men are carrying on, are they?
Men are in and out of the compound, delivering sills to it.
Yeah. I imagine that's the last thing that you would have expected a grown-up to come and do that.
I wouldn't expect that of anybody.
No, I'm sure it was a wee bit traumatic.
I would not expect that of anyone.
No, that's pretty low, isn't it? On the pantheon of lowness, that's about as low as you can get. Well, all right then. Well, God's curse to the fellow who done it, and let's try and find a replacement.
Thanks, Gerry.
Okay.
Enjoy listening to your programme.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Okay, bye. Bye. What a wonderful country this is. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Gerry.
How are you, sir?
I'm very well. Yourself?
I'm fine.
How's the weather over there?
The weather is kind of dull today.
Oh, it's beautiful. Are they frying eggs on the street?
No, they're not doing that at all. Well, where we are, it's quite dull, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm glad, because, if I have to go out to the back garden one more time, because I always feel as if I have to when the sun's shining.
Yeah.
I'm too busy to go out to the back garden.
Too busy doing nothing.
Exactly. But see, when the sun's shining, you get so little sun that you feel as if you don't go to the back garden, you're making a big mistake.
You're missing something, yeah.
Because there are going to be 348 grey days, so you may as well take advantage of the 15 or 20, or whatever number of the days of the year there is. Yeah. You take advantage of it.
Yeah.
I say.
Get as much of it as you can when you can.
Get it down, as the sign says at the end of the bar, the gable end.
Get it down, yeah.
In Dungiven. Horse it into you, sir.
Horse it into you, yeah. Get it into you.
What can we do for your good self?
What I'm on about, you used a word this morning, a couple of phone calls ago.
Yes.
And John Bennett, he uses the same word.
Apropos.
For drawing a raffle or drawing something out the duncher.
The duncher, yeah.
Well, what is, or how do you pronounce this duncher? How do you spell it?
Duncher. Well, it's a cap. It's a type of cap that used to be worn by the working class. The men always wore caps and going to the shipyard.
Yes, a workman's cap.
A workman's cap, basically, that's what a duncher is.
And
That's what it is. It's a D-U-N-C-H-E-R, I think.
D-U-N-C-H-E-R, duncher.
Well, that would be the way I would spell it, but I only say that because John Bennett says it.
Yeah, but as I say, it's... I've heard him saying it 2 or 3 times.
He says it all the time.
And
yes.
I wondered, I thought it was some sort of a bucket or a pail, something like that.
Well,
or some utensil.
Well, rest
that's what
assured.
it is. It's a cloth cap.
Put your mind at ease. It's not a utensil. Tis a cloth cap.
It's a cloth cap.
It probably doesn't exist at all. You see, what happens in radio, and I don't have to tell you this, and I'm not giving away any great secrets. See, most of what you hear in radio are lies.
Are they?
Oh, yeah, most things that are described.
Well,
for instance, when John Bennett says, I'll put it in the duncher, you automatically think that he's sitting in the studio with a hat.
And flushing it down the drains.
Yes, but there's no hat at all.
Yeah.
It's just an old box or something.
It's an old saying, like that.
Yeah, because it's the same way when people are dancing around the studio. They're not doing it at all.
Oh, well, you understand that.
Nobody ever has any fun in radio studios. People are always saying we're having great fun today.
George Jones doesn't do so bad. He has a bit of fun.
George is only letting on to have fun. As soon as the records are playing, he's got a big long face on him.
Has he?
Oh, yeah. There's no fun there at all. No, people are pretending to have fun. You see, this is what's wrong with radio. Too many people pretending to have fun.
We
you should be like me and not pretending to have fun at all.
See, you could be have your thumb on the end of your nose now and wiggling your fingers.
I could be sitting here in the nude. I could indeed
what?
I could be sitting here in front of 5 or 6 pregnant women.
That'd be a duncher, that would.
No, but never believe anyone who ever tells you that we're having great fun here in the studio.
Listen, Gerry,
is lying.
You sitting there in the nude, you're just trying to copy me.
Are you in the nude as well?
I'm in the nude.
Wow!
Wow!
2 naked people.
What a 2 naked people.
Too much in love to say goodnight.
Too much.
But put some clothes on, you dirty swine.
That's cue for the song, Gerry.
But put a duncher on.
Listen.
And walk down to the shop, see how far you get before the police arrest you.
Are you going to let me have a word in?
Yes.
How's about playing My Little Lass from Oma? Have you got it with you? That's another thing. Oh, I've not got it with me. It's not in the box.
No.
Would you carry a shoebox with your bloody records in?
No, funnily enough, I do have a box. When I'm complaining about people saying that they don't have dunchers, I have a very highly polished flight case here, crammed to the gunnels with CDs.
And there's nobody wants to listen to them.
No, I never change them. I change them every 6 months. You know, like your oil on your car.
Your underpants.
Well, speak for yourself. What are you talking about? You're not wearing anything.
No.
No, what I do is I empty out the CDs after 6 months and put fresh ones in.
Yeah.
So whether or not Pretty Girl from Oma gets in there...
Is that why the corncrake only comes round every 6 months?
That's right, the corncrake is often not there. I saw a sight the other day, which made my heart lift. Where I live, there's quite a stretch of water in front of me. And a while back, there used to be 2 white swans used to come out every morning. And as you know, swans mate for life.
Yes, they're very, lovable.
Yeah, and I used to see them, and I used to see them wandering around. And, not wandering around, paddling furiously. They look calm, but it's all paddle underneath, as you well know.
Yeah.
And then I hadn't seen them for a while, and I began to worry about them. Because I just say, where are my swans?
Where have they gone to?
And then by thunder yesterday, I was happy to be walking along, and I looked out across the water, and there were 2 swans. And do you know what was in between them? There once was an ugly...
a young one.
2 of them.
2 young ones, yeah.
2 little grey, horrible-looking things.
Uh-huh.
The ugly ducklings.
Yeah. Listen, Gerry, just before I go, I've got a lot of work to do. The wife will be in shortly from
you better put some clothes on. You get the wrong idea.
Listen, have you got any rose-coloured swans over there?
I can't think, no. At the moment, can't recall seeing one.
You've never seen one?
No.
Well, tell me this. Have you ever seen a white rose?
I have indeed, yes.
Well, that's a rose-coloured swan.
Is it really? Is that some kind of a joke here?
We joke, yeah.
No, sorry, I'm not good at jokes. We don't have great fun here. Listen.
I'm trying to...
No, that's all right.
Don't add a little bit of...
No, don't be starting to have fun here. We don't like that.
You don't want to have
Listen,
fun?
I have to suggest to you that if your wife walks in now and sees you listening to the radio naked, she may think there's something wrong. Get some clothes on.
Yes, all right, I will do, Gerry.
Go away.
Okay, me son. Look after yourself now. Bye.
Bye. There's nothing like a naked Scotsman in the morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Have you any clothes on?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, the reason I'm calling is because there was a song you played a while ago, and you called it a song in 3 languages.
Yes.
It was a song in 3 languages and not 4. I just wondered why you said Catalan Spanish.
I think it was Catalan Spanish.
Well, you see, Catalan is a language.
I know, but there's Catalan and there's, what's the other one?
Well, there's Basque, there's Galician, and there's Catalan, and there's Spanish, but they're 4 totally different languages.
But they all originate in Spain.
Well, they all happen to be in Spain, but they're not Spanish.
I know. Well,
Each of them are equivalent. They're not.
Yeah.
One doesn't. I just thought.
You're nitpicking.
I think it's really important that that people know the difference between a dialect and a language, and I'm sure you do yourself.
Well, I would call it Catalan Spanish, but obviously it's Catalan.
Yeah.
That's what they speak around about Barcelona, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's a whole region, but it's an autonomous region in Catalonia.
Yeah.
So.
That's right.
Do you mind me saying that?
I don't mind at all, no, because after all, the brief of the Rethian brief of the BBC is to entertain, inform, and indeed educate.
So.
And if I am in charge of 2, you can do the educating. No, that's
Not too much of that.
No, I'm glad. So there's Catalan, there's Basque, and what is the other?
Galician.
Galician. Where's Galician?
It's over in the northwest.
Is Basque not in the northwest?
Basque is in the center north, up in the north, near the French border.
Oh, right.
Galician is over Portugal, and it's very similar to Portuguese because they have the same. Portuguese and Galician are practically the same, but they're not. So.
And there's been claims to a link to the Irish language from Galician.
There are certain roots of the words that are similar.
Can we talk
they're
about
Celtic roots?
Can we talk about the Beaker people here?
The what?
The Beaker people.
No.
The Beaker people, apparently, the remains and artefacts belonging to the Beaker people a very long time ago were found in Ireland and were found to have originated in Galicia.
Is that right?
Yeah. You're not talking to just anyone who's dragged in off the street.
I realise that.
Talking about a man with broad archaeological and paleontological knowledge.
Absolutely.
All right, then.
Okay.
No, that's okay. I don't mind you saying that
Thanks
at all.
very
because
much.
there are enough stupid people out there. we need to educate some of them. Okay.
Well, that's the one thing I know anyway.
Okay, well, it's good to know one thing.
That's right.
And then you can tell everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I should have talked to her. I should have asked her about herself. What is she, American, is she?
I don't know.
I should have asked her. I slipped up an opportunity there. I like exotic women.
Yeah.
What do you say now?
Your people are ringing you. A gentleman says that he was listening to the programme last week and he heard someone asking you, how do you get rid of spiders in the house? And he didn't hear the solution. So do you remember how do you get rid of spiders out of your house?
The solution is you go behind him and you go, oh!
All right, okay. The old ones. Can you give the address for the small shoes again?
Well, what do you think I am? The memory man? I can't remember that. It's probably upstairs somewhere.
Well, okay. This is what I've been asked, so I'm passing them on to you
pass
now.
them on. Pass them on.
Right. Why do cricketers not get tested for dope?
Because...
apparently it's not allowed.
No, because
the gentleman said.
They obviously have to take it to play the game. Because, it's such a sleepy game that if you didn't take dope, you'd fall asleep.
Yeah, but they never get tested. Like all other sportsmen, all other athletes.
Because you couldn't play the game without it. So that's why they don't test.
So they take it?
Of course they do. How else do you think they're going to keep awake? Anything else? Is that it?
No! Will you give details of the Randy Travis CD?
All right. Randy Travis CD is called... Just one thing after another here. Heroes and Friends it's called. And it's on the Warner Brothers label. It's a Randy Travis album, Heroes and Friends. He's the hero, and all his friends join him to sing songs that Hugo people like.
What about that woman's door yesterday?
What about it?
The brown PVC door that's turning white.
Yes, I was very concerned about that. I couldn't sleep
I thought about that last night.
So did I. I tossed and turned the whole night. Is that all we have now?
That's it.
Thank you. I have to say hello to John and Audrey. I have to say hello to him from Doris and David. These are messages from the people outside. That's what we call the listeners. The people outside, because we're inside. For Phyllis Brown, hello. Get well soon from Patrick. Also, request and dedication, hello to Kathleen McCabe, who is working in Clare Lodge Residential Home in Newcastle. She's 40 plus today. God bless her. Her sister Marion and her family in Castlewell, and wish her happy birthday and all the best. Good luck, good luck, good luck, well. Sorry, I just became Hugo for a moment. It's not easy. Lost in Coleraine 6 weeks ago, 2 female cats, one honey-coloured and one ginger. Well, I suppose nobody's perfect. 6 weeks ago, 2 female cats, or caps if you prefer, 2 female cats, one honey-coloured and one ginger. Right, here's a fax. I can hardly make this out. It's from, I don't know who this is from. Gerry, we see in the news that they've cut down the price. I can't read that. I'll try and read it later. I think it's about petrol. It's difficult for me to read. It's kind of faint. Could you please request information from your listeners regarding our cat, which has been missing since 12:30 p.m. on Saturday the 24th of August. She is 5 years old, has a tabby face, head, back and tail. His chest and legs are white. Her name is Squeaky. She disappeared from the Barnhill area of Donaghadee on Saturday the 21st of August and could well have jumped into the boot of a vehicle or the back of a van in the area. We are happy to offer a reward if any information which leads to her safe recovery. That's from a person in Donaghadee. So it's a wee cat called Squeaky. It's tabby from head to foot. And gentleman John Ross writes to me and he said, we have at Ross Cycles Castlewellan, we here at Ross Cycles Castlewellan are trying to help the children of the fallout. We have helped out with bicycles for the boys and girls. What else is needed? Digging equipment, warm clothes, old work boots, wellies, blankets and toiletries before the second week of September. When anyone that can help, phone Castlewellan 78029 and we'll be happy to pass on any information. I'm not quite sure. There's not a lot of information about the children of the fallout. I'm not quite sure what that is, but I'm sure it's something to do with Chernobyl. I think so. I'm not quite sure. There's no information. But whatever that is, if you've got any digging equipment, farm, warm clothes, old work boots, wellies, toiletries, blankets, contact this number. And we have the number here if you've missed it. It's Castlewellan 78029 before the second week of September. Obviously, maybe a shipment going out from there. So that's good, right? Play a little music now to stop me talking, which is always a good thing. I don't know what that is, but it'll become apparent as soon as the man sings or woman. Oh no, it's Hal Ketchum.
Last night I was feeling something wasn't right. There was not another soul inside. Only you. So we walked alone, though I knew that there was something wrong. And the feeling hit me oh so strong about you. Then you gazed up at me, and the answer was plain to see. 'Cause I saw the light in your eyes, in your eyes. Though we had our flame, I just never would suspect a thing till that little bell began to ring in my head, in my head. But I tried to run, though I knew it wouldn't help me none. 'Cause I could never love no one. So I said, but my feeling for you was just something I never knew till I saw the light in your eyes, in your eyes. You best, and it's not something I say in jest. 'Cause you're different, girl, from all the rest. In my eyes, I ran out before, but I won't do it anymore. Can't you see the light in my eyes?
That's a fine singer. That's Hal Ketchum. That's a song called I Saw the Light, written by Todd Rundgren. It's from his new album, well, new-ish album, called The Hits. Compilation album. A lady called Eileen Monaghan sends me a little poem about a street that I know well in Derry, Stoke, Londonderry. It's called Nailers Row, which I believe is gone now. It used to be called Nailers Row because the nailers used to live there. People whose occupation was making nails. Very interesting. Steeped in the mist of history. The houses are all gone. A path remains where once proud people lived and loved. Then Derry walls overshadowed humble homes. Now they stand, stark and visible to all. No more do children play or wives converse. The clamour of generations is silenced. That's nice. And James Mullen sends me this fax. I tried to read it earlier, but I couldn't because I had no time to squint to my eyes. It's 2 points. One, we see in the news that they have cut down the rows of fine or pine trees. I'm not quite sure which. They've cut down the rows of trees down on the way to Ballymoney. They were deemed to be dangerous by the DOE or whoever does that sort of thing, the tree department. Would you like to take bets that within 2 years there will be a nice new 4-lane carriageway in their place? Seems to me that you could have a point there. It's like closing down hospitals temporarily. Dungannon Hospital, they're going to close that, goes down temporarily. And the people are saying, oh, jeez, I'll never reopen again. 2, had a very nice night out in Dublin recently. The food was lovely, but the 4 jugs of water cost £32. That's dear for water. We've now taken to drinking petrol. Don't do that, or splash it. What, Sean?
Would you take a wee quick caller, please?
Of course I would.
Right.
Of course I would. You don't have to ask me. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Gerry. It's Deirdre.
Yes, Deirdre.
I wanted to say thank you very, very much to all the people who offered to help Jeanette. I remember her car was stolen and her wheelchair.
Yes, did you have any joy about it? I know that somebody rang you.
We got a whole lot of people ringing.
Excellent.
And I would single out Sally and Mr. McClure for very special reasons. It was both through bereavement that they were offering the use of chairs. And we have got a chair now. Unfortunately, hers hasn't turned up. And just, there are so many good people out there. I wish the bad ones would listen.
Yeah, well, I mean, as long as the good people respond, it makes the bad ones feel a sense of shame. And they mightn't show it, but they feel it inside themselves, don't they?
Yeah, and I would like to also thank the clergymen in St. Luke's as well for their kindness.
All right.
And the general people in Twinbrook who couldn't have been nicer.
All right, so you're all sorted out then?
I am.
Excellent.
Except for the want of a car, but we'll sort that out eventually.
That's only a matter of time, isn't it?
Yeah.
All
and
right,
again, thank you for your help.
Oh, not at all.
You do a fine job.
Unsung hero.
Right.
Okay,
Bye.
then. Thank you. Bye. Bye. I'm not an unsung hero at all. I'm self-obsessed and selfish, as anyone who knows me knows. Excuse me, I'm just going to dance around the studio for a moment. We're having such fun here today. We're eating cream buns and everything. Look at me dance. That old jazz is hard to dance to. My legs are like corkscrews. I'm just looking to see if I've done everything I'm supposed to do, and the answer appears to be yes. So hold on a minute. Please announce the Clarence Players present Pool's Paradise, a comedy by Philip King, on Friday the 27th and Saturday the 28th of August at 8 p.m. at the Courtyard Theatre in Ballyair. Tickets are a mere £5, £4 concession. At Ballyair Leisure Centre. The number is 01232 848 287. Pay at the door. That's all we have to do there. So that's all we have time for. If you wish to write to me, there's no reason at all why you shouldn't. And you'll be ignored, of course, but, you know, it's nice to know you've done it. Write to Gerry Anderson, care of BBC Radio 4. That's 8 Northland Road, Derry, Stoke, Londonderry. Or send me an email. That's at gerry.anderson@bbc.co.uk. Ignore the email address in the Radio Times. It is false. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.